Hello and welcome. This is Ayana Lahi, and I am so very happy that you are here with all of us today in this week's episode of Be One, Be You. We are diving into the theme and placing a woman on a pedestal and then rejecting her. What do I mean by that? The feminine is a multifaceted, creative source power in many different forms. From the fire keeper to the earth keeper to the heaven and keeper of higher planes, to the light of the heart. The feminine energy expands as it is received. The feminine energy expands through receiving itself. The earth part of the feminine energy is very anchoring. It grows life. The fire part of the feminine ignites and it brings into action its fieriness. The water part of the feminine is a flowing, rippling, oftentimes torrential flow of change energy. The air, the wind, part of the feminine is thought, powerful thinking, creating solutions, resolutions. When the feminine energy of a woman or a man is put on a pedestal, it creates havoc if we haven't yet discovered and embraced our own feminine energy. How many of you who are listening have been in a relationship where you were put on a pedestal because of how absolutely desirable you are, and then later rejected because it brought up in a partner, in a love partner, and also it can happen in a work environment. Put on a pedestal and raised up to adore, think highly of, and then take apart, take down. Some of you have experienced this in the workplace. Some of you have experienced this being a healer and threatening someone else, sometimes woman to woman. Would go through jealousy, through competition. And this is such a powerful, powerful experience in the psyche to become aware of. To realize that we are in a culture of raising someone up on a pedestal. Now, if you have been on a pedestal, or maybe presently you are on one, how did you get there? What did you do? It usually ties in as a woman or as a man through identifying with your own creative energies or your sexual energies and identifying with them so that you work to get the attention, the love, the focus, or the respect from a partner, a colleague who really needs your energies in their life because they haven't found that connection in themselves. Men are not taught in the traditional collective thinking system to reconnect with their own feminine energy. And I'm not talking about sexual identity or what gender you choose as a partner. This is same-sex or heterosexual. It's the same experience of either rejecting one's own feminine or accepting that power of that earth, air, fire, water within you and moving into and through the core energy that unites all of them, and that Akash, the spirit of who you are. When we embody the spirit, the essence of ourself, that comes through feeling and becoming alive in our own body, through becoming one with the source. You can call it whatever you want. I can call it God. You might get stuck in that word, but it is the infinite source. It is the source of love. When we shut the door to that greater power, we look for it on the outside. And when we find it, we think we've found it, and we put that person on a pedestal, whether for her gorgeous beauty, her creativity, her sensuality and sexuality, her nurturing, her fireness, the fiery power, perhaps even her intellect, her ability to stand for what she wants. We have the choice as a collective culture and individually to reject and put that power down, or to find it in ourself and come into a personal relationship with the feminine within ourselves. In our collective culture, we see how a woman of power is put on a pedestal, and the old male patriarchal, old ecosystem thinking will work to tear her down, all out of not being able to control that power. Think how hard it is for the patriarchal masculine, which is the model of masculinity that is in battle with the awakening new masculine energy, that is the unifier. That new masculine energy is tuned like a tuning fork or a beautiful violin or a beautiful Steinway piano. It's tuned to that higher frequency of pure love. But the old male model is not to tune in, to be one with, not to be tuned up with love, but power, false power. And what has happened over time is that women are equated with needing to love no matter what, and men equate themselves with power. But you see, it's the opposite. A woman's power comes through being one with the source, the spirit within her body, and a man's true power comes through being one with the source in his own body through the elements and coming down from the head to meeting the source within his own body. And this shifts the way the mind works. It literally, truly rewrites your life script, and you are no longer able to live in a false state of mind. You enter into a true self operating system, a TSOS. And the beginning of creating that operating system is where you begin in all of the spirit gateways, offerings. And I guide you through video, library courses that you see in the membership program on my website, or you experience it one-on-one through mentoring together with me. And you move into all the ways that you have put yourself on a pedestal to avoid what you're most afraid of, what you have judged yourself for, what you have blamed yourself for. And many of you are not on a pedestal, so you've needed someone else to put you on a pedestal. And so, yes, it's true. All of us need to honor ourselves through how we dress, what we're wearing. And it doesn't matter if it's expensive or not. It's the quality of the experience of what you feel when you put that garment on, how it makes you feel, what it brings out in you. How do you take care of your body? How do you nurture yourself? Are you choosing to cut out heavy chemicals through shampoos and soaps so that your body is not absorbing chemicals, additives, preservatives that block your ability to really be true with you, because you've got to feel you inside yourself. So as you eliminate using products, as you eliminate thinking patterns that are just a cover over and trying to take you to a desired result without doing the inner work, you find yourself short-circuiting yourself. And you get to a point where it's a little harder to face yourself because you're still faking it. And so the more we pull away from doing the work, the deeper the hole, the deeper the pain. And so then we need to be put on a pedestal. So those of you out there, whether you're men or women, and you have a tendency to put someone up on a pedestal, take the time to really look at the person instead of putting them where you want to put them. Love them each day for who they are, just a little bit more. And let the love get simpler and more real, so that you're not having to forget yourself by putting somebody else up on that pedestal. And as you go inside and through your own ways of avoiding your own terrificness, your own wonderfulness, in a true way, this is about acknowledging your talents and gifts, your inner beauty and bringing that forth, your divine state of health that needs nurturing and caring, and to make that decision to stop stuffing and numbing, stuffing down and numbing out what's really going on inside of yourself, so that the pedestal begins to shrink. And you no longer need to put yourself on one or another, but that you can show up and see the beauty, the power, the real power of existence, the existence of love and caring in humanity, in the people around you, the friends your children, your partner, colleagues, students, where you decide to put an end to putting yourself up on that pedestal because it's getting boring. And you also decide you're going to take on a new interest of really getting to know who someone is, because everybody is so unique and special. And people who are hurting the most are the ones who really need you to understand their aching heart. So next time you know someone or you recognize this pattern in yourself to need to put someone else up on a pedestal, take the time to really receive your aching heart. I went through an experience with a partner many years ago, and he would put a woman on a pedestal. I later found out that he would go from relationship to relationship, putting a woman on a pedestal and then destroy her. And he would take her down because he lost interest in who she was, and he could not get pleased. He was no longer able to get pleased emotionally, creatively, sexually. There was like the door inside of himself was so shut down. And after the relationship ended, my lesson was truly to come fully into the love within myself. And I spent many years to honor that love that I am, so that I wouldn't allow anyone to really put me on a pedestal again, because there was a part in me that was wounded and needed that person to see who I was. And I took quite a few years in the practice of seeing who I really am and letting the true being that I am to emerge through my whole body to fill me, so that I surrendered into me. And it was a very special and beautiful process that I continue every day, every single day. When I start my day, it's a day of surrendering into the light, the love that is deep within myself. And I would choose to, and I continue to choose to honor and to really support with all my love all of you who are really choosing to be so transparent with yourself, so that you can find that deep, pure feminine and masculine integration, that reunion within yourself of the light, the power, the love, the grace, the structure, the focus, the ignition, the reunion, and a new relationship inside of yourself. Here in the Spirit Gateways Institute work, this is what we focus on. This is what the training is. And it's a system that's been created over 45 years to guide you into the essence, the source of who you truly are, and to learn how to live your life, build your life from that reunion in you. It's a beautiful process. And I've been able to work out all the question marks I had along the way of how the energy, the psychology, the spiritual, the etheric, the emotional all work together to bring you through a deep, powerful, pretty fast transformation. So come to my website at Ayana Lahi, IANALAHI.com, and I welcome you. Until next time, until next week, holding you in deep, deep love. This is Ayana Lahi.